Hello and welcome. I want to address an awesome question I got in the comments about carbohydrates, eating carbohydrates at night, how to know if you're eating enough carbohydrates, and what types of carbohydrates to eat. And so this is a great topic to cover because for years there has been so much misinformation around carbs in the evening, eating at night, how eating carbs at night, you can't lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of that came from the fact that energy deficits create fat loss. So that's a way to create an energy deficit. But the problem with that kind of reductionistic mentality is that we're not looking at the other side of the coin and how that affects whole body metabolism over time. So we've been really brainwashed into this idea that eating carbs at night is bad because it's going to cause a blood sugar spike or weight gain, etc. And the truth is, it's actually the opposite. And eating enough carb and the right amount of carb in your dinner meal can really support your sleep and your recovery and just your overall sense of well-being. Not to mention this whole need of these crazy rules that really, what's the word I'm looking for? They distance us from our intuitive wisdom around what's right for us. And we want to always go back to reconnecting to our body and tuning into our body and looking at our own biofeedback to see what's going to work for us. So from the science point of view, eating carbohydrate at night will support replenishing your liver glycogen, because even when you go to sleep, your body is still burning carbohydrate all through the night. And what happens often, especially if women have been consistently underfueling carbohydrates or not eating enough carb in their dinner meal, they have a wake up between 2 and 4 a.m. where they feel really wired. They're tired, but they're wired. They can't get back to sleep. Their sleep is disrupted. And this is because when blood sugar drops from low carbohydrate availability, that actually your stress hormones go up. So your cortisol goes up, your adrenaline goes up, and this is what creates that wake up response. So for most women, eating a quality, slow release carb in their dinner meal can really support that sleep depth and quality so that you do wake up the next day and you feel high energy and refreshed. So things that I love are root vegetables. And in fact, if you go to Costco, they have an amazing Pura Vida is a brand. They make one with parsnips and sweet potatoes and carrots and red onion, which is delicious. Whole grains like rice, quinoa, all varieties of rice are awesome. Legumes like lentils, chickpeas, pinto beans. I mean, you can really test out for you what beans agree with you. There's even these awesome bean pastas. I found them on Amazon and they have chickpea, edamame, black bean, and they're delicious. And what I'll do is I will actually make the bean pasta, add some vegetables to it, either a tomato sauce or fresh Parmesan and olive oil and roasted veggies. And you can add a little extra lean protein there, like ground turkey or ground beef or fish or whatever it is that you prefer. And there you have a really delicious balanced dinner that's very, very satisfying, because when we pair the lean proteins and the healthy fats with the quality carbs, it's like that magic macro balance, as you could say, that gives you that nice steady release of energy, and the body is getting the fuel it needs and it's getting the protein and amino acids for repair overnight, and the healthy fats that really support hormone health as well as blood sugar stability and slow digestion. And they also help improve the nutrient absorption within the meal. So how many carbs is enough? Now, I obviously don't know each of you specifically and what your activity and your carb tolerance and genetics and all of these things, but in general, as for women who are not very active, I like to see at least 30 to 40 grams of carbohydrate in that evening meal. If you're extremely sedentary, maybe even 20 grams, which is a really small amount. We're talking a third a cup of cooked rice, for instance. If you're more moderately active, you're talking about 1/2 to 1 cup of cooked starch. But I really want to emphasize that it's always important to take recommendations, experiment with your body, and see how your body responds. Because the other thing I have seen with some of my clients who are less active and more insulin resistant is they may not need a starch in their evening meal, but then they will have before bed about 30 minutes minutes to an hour before bed, they're going to have maybe a cottage cheese with some berries or half a banana or some kind of carb, looking for at least about 15 to 20 grams of carb in that pre-bed snack. And that will also support blood sugar stability overnight. And for my more active women, now you're looking at having at least a fist of carb in your dinner meal. And on top of that, topping off that liver by having that snack before bed. So the goal is not for me to give you more rules, but to kind of think about how you can experiment with this, observe how your body responds, and then start to kind of manipulate things to where you feel best. And this may fluctuate too, depending on where you are in your cycle, how active you are that day. There are so many things that go into us figuring out what works for our body, but also the more in tune and the more we tune into ourselves and start to listen instead of looking outside for somebody else to tell us what to do, the more empowered we are and the more our body communicates to us. So carbohydrates at dinner can be a really powerful tool to restore trust, support your nervous system, and actually help your body get the rest that it needs. Because the other thing, ladies, if you're in my age range, I'm perimenopausal, so I'm 45, and believe it or not, but hot flashes are often a result of blood sugar instability. So if you're going to bed and you haven't had enough carb and your body's going into a stress response and your blood sugar is either dropping too low or even spiking, then that will exacerbate the hormone fluctuations and will lead to worse hot flashes. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you like this video or if you want any more guidance or specifics as what I went over with carbohydrate. But just remember, your brain alone uses 130 grams of carbohydrate a day. So having 40 grams in a meal is perfectly appropriate, even if you're not highly active. And it's really about, improving that metabolic flexibility, increasing that trust within the body, reducing the stress, because that parasympathetic response is what we want. Because when we're in that parasympathetic mode, which carbohydrates support, that's when we optimize fat oxidation, recovery, rest, repair, etc. And I just did a video with Sarah. You can check out our collaboration video we did. We dove deep into carbohydrates, our experience ourselves, as well as working with clients. She was keto/carnivore, I believe, for 10 years until her body crashed. And now she's on the other side of that. And so she is really out there also helping to shift women away from this really dogmatic approach to nutrition that has just been kind of floating around in the internet now for about, 15 years. It really got big in the mid-2000s. But anyhow, so we are doing our best to get the message out there. And if there's anything else you'd like to see around this topic, let me know in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you again.